Good morning, you guys. Welcome to the Morning Sip. Welcome. My name is Julian Alexis Roberts. I am the founder of Campaign P31. If you don't know what that is, it's a platform for women who are chosen and set apart. If you don't know if you're chosen or set apart, you might want to just stick in and tune in for a little while just to see. Well, today's topic, we're talking about falling forward. So I'm into two cameras at the same time. So I'm not sure which one is going to check in, but it looks like this one. So good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's so good to see you. Um, there's some people over in the chat that we just want to say good morning to. Good morning. Welcome. I know it's super, super early. That's what this is all about. The sip is like when you get up early in the morning and you kind of shake your hair out of the bonnet. I didn't want to give you the bonnet version of me, but I did want to give you the real version of me where we're sipping. And so I'm really excited to meet with you this morning. Like I said, today's topic is falling forward. So there's a new segment that I want to kind of share with you. People are always asking me, they're texting me in my DMs and saying, hey, listen, you seem to have a lot of insight on this, that, and the other. What are you reading? So this segment is called What Are You Reading? And actually, I am reading a new book. I just finished Dangerous Prayers by Craig Kushel. This is called The Fight to Flourish, and it's by Jenny Lusko. Jenny Lusko is the wife of Levi. I don't know why I said Levi Lusko, and they pastor Fresh Life Church in Montana. And you might wonder, like, that's so random, Alexis, for you to like find somebody in Montana to read a book about. And the truth of the matter is, I don't know if you guys can hear me. Testing, 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 testing. Let's see. Well, that didn't work. So let's just make sure that you guys can hear me well. If you can hear me, give me thumbs up. Thank you. I'd appreciate it. It's wonderful. Okay. So Jenny Lusko. I knew Jenny Lusko before she had that last name Lusko. She and I actually, funny enough, went to high school together. We ran track together. The randomest thing in the world that I saw a picture of her at a recent conference, and I was like, I know that girl. I know that girl. I'm trying to check y'all to make sure my mic is right. Let me make sure because I don't want any extra. Okay, testing. All right, we good? We good? It says default, but I don't know if that's accurate. Let me check. I was gonna check on another device to make sure that you are doing the right thing. So, long story short, I find out that we actually went to school together. Funny enough, she's talking in her book about the fight to, it says, engaging in the struggle to cultivate life that you were born to live, the fight to succeed. That's really what it's talking about. She talks and shares her story about losing her 5-year-old, which is really, really hard, as you can imagine. But through that fight, she found God in a new and very intimate way. And so I'm just kind of reading through it. I'm only on the 4th or 5th chapter, but so far so good. And it actually lends very closely to what we're doing here in Campaign P31. So the last 5 or 6 weeks, we've really been talking about running your race, which is something my mentor shared with me recently. But it wasn't until God started to reveal that thing week by week from our topics of stay in your lane, don't look back, which are all strategies that our track coach used to give us in high school. And this week is falling forward. And so I just want to share a little bit of story with you as it relates to falling forward. You know, some folks are really concerned about what others think if they fall, right? They're concerned about the embarrassment of what it will look like. And then there are some who don't necessarily care what people think about what it looks like. Um, they just don't want to fall, right? So you can trip, but don't fall. That's the worst of it. And then there are still others who like don't really care if they trip and really don't care if they fall, as long as they don't bring injury to themselves, right? And so after looking at the three layers of people, the people who don't mind or don't mind the embarrassment or don't even mind, having a little fall, or the people who really just trying to avoid bumps and bruises, I thought about this. Sometimes when we fall and you happen to get an injury, there's a lesson that's learned at that point. And the lesson that's learned is, what could I have done to avoid the fall? How did this happen? Am I okay? It's a self-evaluation. It's a moment of reset, right? So in my life, I was thinking about the times that I tripped and I fall. So I wanted to share with you the story. You guys, I kid you not, I was in seventh grade at the time. I was growing up in Chicago, and I went to a predominantly popular church, I guess, in Chicago on the South Side. AFC people out, if you out there. So AFC was really, really a cool spot to be because it was kind of like a mega church, but not really. It still had the family feel of it. And so I remember one Sunday I thought I was cute. I was probably like in seventh grade. I was dressed real cute, had my heels on. You ain't supposed to have no heels on in seventh grade, but I did. And it was primarily because I was so tall and my feet were so big, I ended up wearing heels. Not because my mama wanted to put me in heels, because she wasn't going for that. And I remember trying to walk upstairs. So during, young people, this is what we do. We would leave a main service and try to go to the bathroom to just stretch our legs and our minds or whatever. And I would walk around. And so part of that walking around, I tried to walk up the stairs. But in walking up the stairs, I walked around and then I think I was trying to come back down the stairs. And at the top of the stairs, there was a little edge that caught my heel. And as I went to make that step to walk down and it caught my heel, it held my heel as I continued in the forward motion. And my friends, let me tell you, it wasn't pretty. If this was the type of stairs, like the two landing stair, I guess, it went down halfway here and then there was a little landing and then you can go down on the other side here. I fell down this entire stair, like boom, 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 loud, all 6 feet of me. I was so embarrassed that when I fell at the landing, I stayed close to the wall and I got myself together and I walked back up the stairs, walked around the back of the church, and came down the back just so no one in the lobby could figure out who was that and what just happened. So embarrassed, right? And then I can think of another time where I was with my mother. Fell. I think I was about 5 or 6 years old, and we were on public transportation in Chicago. My dad had the car, my mom was coming back and forth from work, and we were coming in late, and it had snowed, and we were had to get off the train and catch a bus, paying attention, or no, that's not what it was. Underneath the snow, there was uh, a pole, like from a sign on the street, that had been bent over, cut down and bent over. And because it was bent and it was under the snow, she tripped over it. So my mother had to be in her early 30s. And so I'm just thinking, oh my God, mom, get up, please get up. And she's like, ow, oh, no, this hurts. And it was a more serious fall. The bumps and bruises of a 20 or 30-year-old woman was much more, um, it was a greater liability. That's what it was, than a seventh grader falling down a flight of stairs. So I want to talk to you for a moment about the liability in it. Both were bad, both were able to get up and walk, but the difference between the two is the nature of the circumstance. See, for me, I was just a seventh grader. I was a teeny bopper. Um, I was agile. I was young. My bones were still fresh and new. My mother had a different set of circumstances. She was 31, maybe 32. She was, um, her situation, her circumstances were a bit different in that she was 8 months pregnant. So she had a lot more to lose, both injury to herself as well as injury to her unborn child. The stakes were higher. Um, the truth is that everyone has a thing. Everyone has a circumstance by which falling could be a liability. Like, you know, financially, I could lose my home. I could, have my car repossessed. Or if I don't finish school, the liability of that, of falling forward, choosing not to go to school versus starting your own business when you know that God has given you a special gift. Or maybe you don't have to, or maybe you're different. I think is really, really interesting. So most people I'm sorry, instinctively avoid falling. They instinctively avoid falling because um, of the embarrassment, because of potential loss, because of the grief that the moment will cause. But in avoiding falling, you also avoid moving forward. Because in that moment of falling, there is that moment of reset that teaches lessons. That lesson is not a failure. That lesson um, is an opportunity for God to reveal himself as strength in your life. It's a vulnerable moment. All right. So I wanted to share some thoughts or tips with you. Number one, surrender. Surrender because God is your safety net. So, funny enough, the way our bodies are designed, when we start walking, we're walking in a forward motion. Yes, of course, you can walk backwards, but your eyes are not on the back of your head, which would help you to see so that you wouldn't trip, right? Your arms are forward facing, right? And even some of the things that he's created in our bodies, like our skull and our rib cage, are protective safety measures to protect the most vital organs in our body as we move forward. Should we have a fall, God has already provided you a safety net physically. Your ribs cover your heart, cover your lungs so that it wouldn't easily get punctured. Your skull covers and secures your brain. So if you have a fall and you happen to hit your head, there's something else to protect it. In addition, you have arms and hands that help you as a response mechanism as you're going down to brace your fall, to take the brunt of the blow. See, it reminds me of the scripture. It says, he is made perfect, or his strength is made perfect in our weakness. In the moments that we fall, that's when he can step in and say, I got you. I've already gone ahead of you and planned some things to catch you in this moment, to teach you some lessons, to give you some windows of opportunity here, even at what you consider to be a low. Which brings me to my second point. Depend on God's grace. Don't despise the low places. The scripture says, don't despise the day of small beginnings. What we call the low places. Those are spaces within your life that I feel that you have to renew your mind to how God sees it. And it's really hard, I know, because you're like, I have been here far too long. This is not going the way that I thought it was going to go. I got into this and I said yes, and I agreed because I saw the vision that God gave me. I didn't see the route that it was going to take me or how I thought it was going to go straight from here to there. And He's taking me all the back way. Reminds me of a funny story. I remember when my husband and I were dating, and there used to be this movie theater, small little movie theater over in Manhattan Beach. And it was over by the mall, but it was kind of tucked away. And I was like, why does he keep bringing me over here? It's like, does he have another somebody that he's hiding from and he doesn't want to be in a public place? Like all the nice, bigger movie theaters, why can't we go to those? Why we got to come to this back around the woods, back in the corner cut kind of movie theater? And I was like, he's not that type of guy who would try to get me by myself in this backwoods type movie theater. That's not his style. But what is going on? Why we keep ending up here? Because I want to be out in the public. And one day I brought it up and it was not good, but I brought it up. And what he let me know is he said, you know what? I come to this movie theater because the people are nice, they're friendly, popcorn's always fresh because it's a small theater and we can buy our tickets and walk right into the show. I don't have to stand in no lines and wait. And that's why I like this movie theater. It doesn't have all the humdrum drama of all the people and you made my hot dog wrong and all the things. And then I felt stupid because I could not see that in this moment, as I was despising this space, he actually had created this space for us to just have some one-on-one time without the disturbance of drama and lines. And we could just go enjoy each other and get our popcorn and it'd be simple. Smart guy, right? So I think my next thought was that moment of reset that God allows. He doesn't necessarily create, but he sees it going on. He allows that interruption to happen. 2020 COVID, where he resets you, he puts you on a pause to get your attention and to be able to bring you back to neutral. You feel like you're on the ground. You're like, God, I can't go no lower than this. And he's like, actually, don't want you to see it as the ground. I want you to see it as the table. It's a table that I prepared for you before your enemies. A table where you're going to birth something new based on your faith in this season. It's a table of birthing something out of a season of grief. You've lost someone or lost something, and I'm going to restore it to you in this season. It's not a floor, it's a table. So don't despise the low spaces. He's also exposing your areas of growth. So he's bringing you behind closed doors where he can work it all out where no one really sees or really knows what's going on with you. He's working it out for your good. Remember, lean into the area that you fear the most, the places that are low, because he's resetting you for purpose. Those are typically the directions you should be going in. And my last point number 3. Exercise your faith. Exercise your faith. I'm a church girl. I grew up in church most of my life. There's only a small window and season of time where I kind of walked away because of a little bit of church hurt. But what I will say, and I'm messing with this mic because it's sticking me in the neck. What I will say is that exercising my faith has caused me to lean into my fears. It's caused me to lean into my fears in such a way because typically, if I am feeling anxious about something or having anxiety about something, it's because God is trying to illuminate that thing in my life. Sometimes it's for safety, and sometimes it's for the purposes like, I know that you're going to see this and be concerned about going in that direction. I want to let you know that I'm with you and that I need you to practice. I need you to exercise your faith. I need you to pick up this weight and carry this thing. That's what I need you to do. And so head that direction. It's okay. Head that direction. So I'm thinking about a sermon or a story that I just shared as children's ministry director with our children. We were talking about Elisha and Elijah. And in the Bible, it was talking about when Elijah was calling on Elisha, the younger guy. He said, come on, come with me. He was like, let's go do this thing in terms of missions for the Lord. And Elijah was a prophet and well respected. Elisha was so excited. When he found him initially, he was in a field stuck behind oxen with a plow in his hand, but they weren't moving. They were stuck. And as soon as the opportunity opened up, I can imagine Elisha was excited, but also scared. Like, what in the world? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to have to go in full throttle, 100%. So it's his family's farm. He says, if I leave, I'm not coming back. So Elijah told him to go say bye to his parents, and he did. But in the midst of doing that, he burned the plow and all the oxen, killed all the oxen and burned them, and provided a little bit to the entire town. He made a definitive move in doing that. See, plowing the field with those oxen was his way of life. Farming was their way of life. But what he did is he got rid of the thing that represented his past and made sure that he could not, by default, come back to it in case he ever got scared along the way. He removed his own safety net because he was just that sold out for what needed to be done. Why do I bring that up? Because when you get a God set assignment, there is nothing in your life that should ever prohibit you or prevent you from pursuing that thing. And I'm saying that to you, but I'm saying it to me. Please understand, I am saying it to me. There is nothing, no one that should create a boundary between what you heard God say, and that will take some faith for you to exercise to really like work that thing out, and you doing the thing that he told you to do, that you're purposed to do, that no one else can do. For example, this morning, I wanted to do one thing as it related to the morning sip, but you know what? God has placed this thing on my heart so heavy that I was like, forget it. Let's just go live. Let's go live. See what happens. Instead of recording a video, editing, falling into the trap of I can't get it done in time and feeling guilty that it wasn't up and done and done. I was like, nope, let's go live. You have to exercise your faith, and God meets you in those places. He meets you in those spaces. More than anything, my pastor said something that I thought was so profound right before COVID really hit. We were in the office one day, and he was saying, I don't know what God is doing, but I sense something in the spirit. I feel like it's a great setup. And the analogy he used, he says, sometimes God pulls you back prepare you for. He pulls you back in a moment of reset or in a low place, in a quiet place behind closed doors to shoot you out and propel you forward. Don't be afraid of falling forward. Even though you're falling, you're still progressively making progress forward. And I just want to encourage you with that. Don't feel like falling is a bad thing. It gives you opportunity to gather yourself, to gather your balance, to get it together, but you're still going forward. It's progress. Y'all, somewhere around here, let me tell you something. I have some track pictures somewhere that show me attempting to do the long jump. A long jump, I got long legs. That's not for everybody. You got to know your ministry. You got to really know your lane. In track, I remember trying the long jump, and it's like this weird trip, skip, jump, manufactured kind of like you're sprinting as fast as you can, and then you go, boom, 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 and you're supposed to land. But wherever you land is where they measure. So I remember my coach was saying, whatever you do, fall forward, fall forward. Don't fall back, because you fall back on your butt, they're going to measure from right there. You need to fall forward. So let your feet or whatever be the last thing and throw your body the opposite way. Throw your body. Probably wasn't the best advice for someone who didn't know what they were doing, but I did that. And there's this picture where all of gravity is grabbing me and pulling me down into the sand, and my face and everything is like, oh, falling forward. And it feels like that sometimes. But my friend, I want you to know that even in falling, that God is with you. He is right there. And he's saying to you, okay, you're here. Gather yourself, do a quick check. Everything's good. Get up, dust yourself off. Let's get back to the race. So I hope this word has found good ground in you. I hope that it has been encouraging to you in some way. And if it has, please let us know in the chat. Please subscribe if you have not already done so. We do these every Saturday morning. I'm going to go back and review how this live went. If it went well, I will meet you here every Saturday to share with you a little bit of what God is sharing with me. And we can sip together, whatever you're sipping, whether it's tea, coffee, just a glass of water, or whatever suits your fancy. But I will be here next Saturday. I look forward to seeing you. You can follow us over at Instagram at Campaign Official. I'm a Campaign P31 Official. You'll see my name. I'm Julian Alexis. You can also follow us over on Facebook. If you want to get access to more videos, obviously you can do that both here at YouTube, and you can do that over at Facebook as well. So there's some old videos and content and stuff that I had from years ago when I used to do Facebook Lives on Fridays. And of course, I want you to have full access to that. So you guys, it's been a joy and a pleasure to bring Falling Forward to you. Also, head on over to our website at campaignp31.com. You can read up on all of our blogs. Typically, all of our stuff is in sync. So this week's theme was Fall Forward. So you can read a little bit about that from our blog. And if you want to know more about us, just engage. We are here. We love to chat. We love to talk. See you soon.